There's something captivating about the story of Big Sean and Jhené Aiko, a relationship that seemed to embody both cosmic chemistry and quiet chaos. On the surface, they were music's twin flames, two souls blending melodies and emotions into timeless art. But beneath the curated Instagram captions and soulful collaborations, there were cracks that hinted at something more complicated, a slow unraveling hidden behind the harmony. Their relationship became a case study in how passion and artistry can blur into turbulence, and how love in the spotlight often burns brightest just before it burns out. Their story began like something written in the stars, two artists who seemed to understand each other on a spiritual level. When they collaborated on their joint project 2088, fans were mesmerized by the chemistry. It wasn't just about music, it was storytelling, vulnerability, and seduction intertwined. They presented themselves as two halves of a creative universe, the kind of connection that feels almost too perfect to be real. But perfection, as always, hides the imperfection. As their careers intertwined, so did their personal lives, and the line between collaboration and codependence began to blur. Behind the effortless artistry, there were rumors, cryptic tweets, and emotional songs that seemed to speak louder than any public statement could. One of the first red flags was the timeline. When they first got together, both were navigating fresh breakups, carrying unhealed emotions into a relationship that demanded stability. It's easy to romanticize the idea of finding comfort in someone who understands your pain, but emotional residue can poison even the most passionate connection. Big Sean's reputation for past relationship controversies and Jhené's own struggles with trust became recurring ghosts haunting their bond. Public speculation grew when Jhené covered up her tattoo of Sean, a symbolic erasure that spoke volumes without a single word. It wasn't just a breakup, it was a quiet surrender, a sign that love had turned into something heavy, something that no longer felt freeing. Social media painted one picture, but their music painted another. Songs like None of Your Concern and Triggered hinted at a love story filled with distance, resentment, and emotional exhaustion. They seemed to use their art to talk to each other, or maybe to talk about each other, with millions of listeners acting as silent witnesses to their unresolved pain. And that's what made their story so compelling. Every lyric, every performance, every interview felt like another piece of a puzzle fans were desperate to solve. They weren't just lovers, they were creators trying to heal through expression, even when that expression revealed how fractured things had become. Then came the patterns that defined so many public romances, the breaks, the reunions, the "we are working things out" phases that hint at love's persistence but also its instability. Every reconciliation felt hopeful, but also fragile, as if they were trying to recreate something that had already passed its expiration date. It's the kind of love that thrives on nostalgia, where both people chase the memory of how things once felt instead of accepting how they've changed. Fame magnified every tension. Every argument became speculation. Every silence became a headline. And when love becomes performance, authenticity begins to fade. Financially and professionally, the stakes were high. Their collaborations were not just about affection, they were about branding. Together, they became a musical power couple whose image could sell records, fuel tours, and inspire millions. But that kind of public fusion makes separation messy. When your partner is also your artistic partner, heartbreak becomes a business complication. The songs that once brought them together now carried the weight of shared pain. Their fans didn't just consume their music, they consumed their relationship, and when that relationship fractured, so did the illusion of unity that fueled their artistry. What makes their story fascinating is not just the love or the loss, it's the lesson buried beneath it. The red flags were never loud or obvious. They were quiet, poetic, even beautiful in their sadness. They showed how two people can deeply love each other and still be fundamentally misaligned. They showed how creativity can bond hearts but also blur boundaries. And they reminded us that sometimes, the most magnetic connections aren't meant to last, they're meant to teach. Big Sean and Jhené Aiko's relationship wasn't a failure, it was a reflection of what happens when love meets pressure, when passion meets ego, and when two people try to find peace in a world that profits off their pain. In the end, their story isn't one of villains or victims, it's about growth. Both emerged from the wreckage more self-aware, channeling heartbreak into music that resonated even deeper than before. Their journey reminds us that red flags aren't always signs to run, they're signals to listen, to learn, and to evolve. What made their love story so captivating wasn't its longevity, but its honesty. It was real, raw, and imperfect, and that's exactly why it mattered.